Okay. Beta. I'm gonna show y'all boys where I'm from, man. I'm from that.
Say, man, what it do? Big Boss, K-Pope, talk boxing. Fuck about a little bit. Sometimes don't learn good people do. The life yourself, caught him in the fight. I mean, you met a peak game, 84 of swing. All right. Breaking news. Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman have a verbal agreement to fight October 18th. Sebastian Fundora put his 154 WBC title on the line. He's coming off a dominant performance stoppage over Tim Tszyu. And, he wants that work again. He's fighting for a third time this year. And, if everything gets set and delivered, he'll be fighting Keith Thurman October 18th. I really like this fight. You know what I mean? I really do. Stylistically, you got a long 6'6" Sebastian Fundora who's figuring himself out as a fighter. He's learning how to keep guys on the end of his punches, and mixing it up with the stuff he like doing. I think he like fighting on the inside, so he's mixing that up too. If a guy is able to get past his reach, and get within his body, he's able to do what he like doing, which is that short inside fighting, throwing short shots, you know what I mean, and really sitting on punches, you know what I mean. That's what he really like doing. You know what I mean? We just gonna keep it real. Sebastian Fundora like fighting on the inside. That's what he like doing. But as a champion, he's learning that that's not gonna always win me fights. You know what I mean? So what he's doing now is he's added the long game to it. You know what I mean? He's keeping guys on the end of his punches, right? So I'm very interested and intrigued to see how Keith Thurman gonna deal with that. And I'm very interested and intrigued to see how Sebastian Fundora gonna deal with Keith Thurman. Now, granted, Keith Thurman's 37 years old. He ain't really been active like that. He is coming off a knockout win against that Barbie Ken dog that he fought in Australia. But I think that Keith Thurman, man, he got a tall order, man. This ain't finna be easy. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. This ain't finna be easy for him. Anybody that fights Sebastian Fundora, you in for a fight. You know what I mean? I think that's why, everybody ain't just running to fight him. You know what I'm saying? Because you gonna have to fight. You know what I mean? Like, you're not coming out that fight unscathed unless you just knock him out. And Keith Thurman, there's a possibility. You know what I mean? But I think what Keith got to do if this fight happens is he gotta get on the inside. You know what I mean? He gotta look to counter Sebastian Fundora, right? So he got to slip some punches, get on the inside and work, and turn Sebastian Fundora. That's what he's gonna have to do. Now, the thing that's underrated about Sebastian Fundora, he's strong in the mud, right? So I don't know how. I'm being for real. I don't know how Keith Thurman gonna deal with that because he's strong, right? So we shall see how he deal with it. But Thurman gotta be able to slip the jab. I think what he should do is look to counter Fundora. Let Fundora initiate the offense, and then he counter off of that. He work off of that. So he slip the jab and throw something. You know what I mean? Get inside, work. Catch and shoot. That's gonna have to be Thurman's game plan. He gonna have to be in tip-top shape for this one, right? So I don't know if he gonna hold up though. This is a tall order, but I really applaud Keith Thurman for won this fight, and I applaud Sebastian Fundora for fighting 3 times, this year. This is going to be his 3rd time, so much respect to Sebastian Fundora, heart of a true champion. Who do I got winning this fight? Not going to lie to you. I got Sebastian Fundora. I think Sebastian Fundora, and I'm going to say by stoppage. I think Fundora stops Keith Thurman, bro. I think that dude, man, he improving, bro. Right? I don't know if Keith Thurman, granted, Keith Thurman is tricky. He can box, he can do all that, but I don't know. This may be too much. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't really been active like that. He just had one fight, right? Yeah, one fight, and, now he finna fight Sebastian Fundora. You know what I'm saying? Now, do I think Keith Thurman deserves a fight against Sebastian Fundora? No. But I love the fight, though. Right? I do. I love it. This is boxing right here. This is what I like. This is what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? Not that Canelo Crawford foolishness. This is a fight. This is a meaningful fight for boxing. right? Keith Thurman's at 154. If he's able to beat Sebastian Fundora, he becomes the WBC champion. He shakes up the world, he shakes up the division. Now Keith Thurman is a champion, right? Who knows? Crawford, after he fight Canelo, you know, if he don't retire, may come back down and want to fight Keith Thurman. That's a fight I always wanted to see. You know, when Crawford was at 40, I thought he was going to fight Keith Thurman. I would have loved to see that fight because, Keith Thurman is very tricky, bro. You know what I mean? Very tricky, got power, high boxing IQ. I want to see how Crawford and Thurman, you know what I mean? I want to see that work. Now, granted, both of them are older. Crawford be 38, you know, Keith Thurman 37, but I want to see that work, man. You know what I mean? I want to see that work. I want to see how, how Crawford deal with that. You know, I want to see how Thurman deal with that. That's a fight I would love to see. Is Keith Thurman versus Terrence Crawford. I think that's an excellent fight. You know what I'm saying? But will I think will Bud do that? No. Bud gonna retire. I mean, whether he win, lose, he gonna retire. He just gonna be like, I'm done. You know? So, but great job by PBC. Very, very, very good fight. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? You know, they might put a surprising star on the undercard. Or not on the undercard, but a co-main event. Who knows? It may be somebody that, people been itching and wanting to see come back to boxing. You know what I mean? Might put that boy on the undercard. That might set up something. You never know. You know what I mean? But y'all let me know what y'all think. Let's go.